Hello everyone, welcome to Triple T Thursday. That's tips, tricks, tutorials. Today I'm coming at you with a topic. I don't know, we'll see how many of you agree with me, disagree with me. I'd love to have some discourse about it. And to be honest, if you see me wiggling around a lot, it's because I'm going through a herniated disc situation. I'm not doing well with all of that, just to put it out there and be honest. So there's a lot of stuff I can't do, and sitting for too long is one of them. So, but you guys don't care about that. But I will have you know, I'm working on it. I'm seeing a chiropractor, and I'm seeing a physical therapist, and I'm trying to get cortisone shots. So I'm working on it. But most days, I will say today was a big victory. I have not done this in many, many moons, like several weeks, but I drove today for probably the first time in weeks, and it was 2.9 miles. And then I walked to the mailbox, and then I flew a little close to the sun, and I really kind of hurt myself, and I was back in bed for the rest of it. So if you see me looking not so happy, it's that. It's not that I'm not here happy. It's that. I'm just in a lot of pain. And if you're wondering, hey, Shelly, you promised me it's not quite a get ready with me, it's more of a draw with me as we do a new character type of icon for members. Well, here's the deal with that. I was able to add, or I was going to be able to add an additional emoji or emote for hitting 15 channel members, but then we lost 5 channel members, so I don't have the option anymore. So I can draw it, but I can't submit it. So there's that. It is what it is. So yeah, if you still want to see that one of these days, yeah, we're gonna have to get 5 more channel members. I don't know what else to tell you, but I digress. Oh my gosh, what is going on with my life? It's been so long that we haven't even done some of this stuff here, right? We need that one to be on, and you guys should see over here behind the scenes. You can't see it. There's an extra wrinkle right here because one of the hooks fell down, because these are on command hooks just attached to the wall, and it just decided, you know what? I've had enough. And we're not going to do this for you anymore. We're not going to support you. So my curtain is half hanging off over here. So that's what's going on with me. What is going on with you? What's new? Thank you for being here. I'm sorry I have been gone. Yeah, and in fact, I would have been gone right now because the dance team that I'm on is actually in Eastern Washington right now. It's not Eastern Washington. Where is it? It's almost like Oregon, right? It's down by, they are at the Gorge, and they're going to be doing a dance performance tonight, which I would have been at if my back wasn't, a little shitter. So I will get to watch that later on TikTok and just be mad that I'm not there. But you know what? It's okay, because one, it's hot, and it's a lot of country music that maybe isn't my jam necessarily. And it would have been 5 hours of driving basically, and that there's no way I would have survived it, even as a passenger. So I get to be here and have some extra cuddles with my puppies. They love that. Basically, we've just been hanging out in bed all day. And yeah, so that's not so much fun. But here we are. What's in your cup, people? Today, kudos to my husband. Shout out to him, who is now downstairs watching the first preseason football game of the year. Who knew? It was already here. He got the ice machine working because it hadn't been working in like over a month. So I don't know what he did, but finally, this is the first time we've had ice in a month. So it's the Crystal Light, where you squeeze it in, strawberry lemonade. So strawberry lemonade. So there's that. We'll say hi to who's here. Pixelpia, hello. How are Keely? Nice to see you show up for certain things. Okay, it's fine. It's all good. And see, we have, Poland Springs Water. Of course, Adam's Expo. It's great to see you. Laying on a heat pad. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah, back issues too? No, it's okay. Yeah, you're nappy. It's okay. Don't worry. You have sciatica. Yeah. So I have a thing. I can barely lift my foot, probably more than just a few inches off the ground. So walking's painful, standing is painful, sitting makes my leg go numb, driving is excruciating. I'm hobbling around. It's not good. It's just not good. And then something when you have a sneeze, oh, good Lord. So I'm working on it. Okay. Seahawks Cup. Yes, absolutely. These are the Tervis tumblers, so. So in case you don't know what the abbreviations mean in the title, There's been a big to-do about the Guinness World Records and how they are now copyright striking or copyright claiming videos that are using their trademark image. So this is a discussion that I want to have with you all today because, first of all, I'm not mad at them. And I did this and I kind of said it in a Twitter thread, and I'm going to reiterate some of these thoughts here. But if you guys remember, I don't know why you would remember. I'm going to remind you now. I was a speaker at a virtual conference, summit, whatever you want to call it. And they were attempting to go for a Guinness World Record for most attendees of a virtual conference or something like that, some official title, right? And it has to be verified and vetted and then submitted, and it was approved. And we participated and we were approved for this Guinness World Record thing. So we all received this email, with instructions that had like the specific logo. It had a date range in which we were allowed to use logo. There was certain phrasing we were and were not allowed to say in conjunction with Guinness World Record. And also, if you missed the posting period, you would not be allowed to post it at a later date. You weren't supposed to reshare it. There was like a long list of things that you were and were not supposed to do with this image. So if you scroll back to, I think it was 2001, 2002 on my Instagram. So you shouldn't have to scroll back too far because I hardly ever post on Instagram. But I had an image, and that image was approved, that graphic one, from the organization for Guinness World Records. And it says like, I helped set a Guinness World Record. And that particular logo that's on there is what is being contested basically under copyright or trademark infringement and stuff. And so apparently Guinness World Record is using maybe some sort of AI, which makes sense, that can scan and look for their logo. And if they find it, they were issuing strikes or claims on people's YouTube videos. Now, if you were using it correctly and you knew, then you would have the graphic image. They would know that you're part of this record. They would see the time frame in which you were posting this thing, probably, posting the video, and it probably would be allowed or accepted. The problem herein lies is that a lot of people just, maybe Google image searched or whatever and started plopping it on their thumbnails, using that specific branding and titling in their videos when they have never participated or been part of a Guinness World Record. And now, sometime later, because they're not saying how far back they're looking, but an image that is trademarked like that, think like Mickey Mouse, regardless of when you do it, you could get caught is the thing, right? And there's always this whole, like, if you don't own this image, you really shouldn't be like profiting off of it, like maybe through AdSense, selling merch with it, creating documentaries and television shows with it, right? There are already times when you see people like having Etsy shops that get shut down because Disney is quite litigious as a company, and they come after these small businesses who are misappropriating their copyrights and trademarks for Mickey Mouse and, all the other characters, and they're not officially licensed, which is why you always see like official partner of, licensed and endorsed by. I mean, everything you hear, like watching the football game tonight, the NFL is going to start with a message that says, the broadcast of this transmission or whatever is select only for the people, the end user, and any other reproduction or unauthorized copy is not allowed, right? I mean, obviously, that's why you pay more at a bar to have like special licenses to show Sunday Ticket or whatever else it is, and so I said on Twitter, I was like, I would say that like, one, I'm not mad at them because you have to protect your own brand. And you can't just have this out there without people respecting that, like, like that these trademark, it would be like, going after that small Etsy shop and then Etsy being mad at Disney when it was them that stole, the intellectual property of Disney in the first place to be making money. Obviously, they're not like cutting Disney in on that, right? So I am not mad at Guinness World Record. In fact, I would be like, yeah, I'm surprised they don't do that more often. I think what is happening though is because of this AI that they're using, they're just doing a lot at the same time very, very quickly because AI does that and can parse through a lot more data. So I was going on about this and I was like, but that's not the only thing that's out there. I mean, like, how many times have you seen like Nintendo go after people who are streaming their games because they don't want their intellectual property out there being misused? How many times, like, technically, there are colors that are copyrighted. Tiffany Blue is copyrighted. The Pink Panther one for the Cornell company for insulation, that's copyrighted. Post-it yellow is actually a copyrighted color, and UPS brown is a copyrighted color. There's some other like red or orange in some restaurant chain that's also copyrighted. And Barbie, not only their font, but their color pink is also copyrighted or trademarked, and you can't use them because there's no like distinguishing, and that's why you would see something like official partner of USAA Gymnastics or whatever else it is. They work out these deals so that people can use the other companies and they can both benefit. But you don't get that with a random YouTuber or content creator who just decides to do a Google image search. However, let me also state that Google has specific ways in their image search underneath the advanced properties where you can filter by usage rights. So there's a different one for if you want to use and modify for commercial purposes, or just free to use for personal use. All three of those are different levels. And not only that, but every single place where you have graphics, whether it's Canva, PicMonkey, Pexels, all the places that you can get images, not only do they have sometimes very explicit verbiage about when you can use it in a commercial sense and when you cannot, like it's all there for you. So if you think of something like DaFont has all kinds of fonts that you can use for free. However, they'll say if you intend to use this in any kind of commerce or any kind of situation in which you might be charging money, whether that's digital design or that's part of your branding and you're using it in your thumbnails, you pay a separate commercial license. Same with Creative Fabrica or something. You pay a membership fee so that you can have these images, so that you can download a license that gives you right to be able to do it. Some things with like Pexels, they'll say like, hey, Pexels is a copyright free or royalty free site. So the rules or terms of service are you can use our graphics for personal use, but you cannot take ours and then sell it, because that defeats, one, the purpose of it being free on this site. So you can't profit off of it, but you can use it for commerce if you materially change it in some way. So remember when we first were talking about Redbubble, if I said something like, if you remove the background of a photo, add some saturation, you have changed that composition. It is not exactly the same. If you just downloaded it and then re-uploaded it to another site and started selling it for t-shirts or selling the design itself, that would be a violation of terms of service, right? So like all of these sites will have then all of these different rules around how you can and cannot use it, and if you can use it in commercial purposes. And there's tons of stuff and examples that you can point to where you can be like, hey, this is actually listed in the trademark database, which is easy to look up. You go search the test database and then you look. That's why you can't say certain phrases, right? Like this sick beat is trademarked by Taylor Swift. So technically anyone who's selling some bootleg t-shirt of this sick beat for profit could be is in violation of the trademark and could get in trouble legally. Is Taylor Swift going to go after them? Probably not. Is it different if you use it for your own and you don't actually sell it? Different rules apply, but I'm saying it always depends. If there's any channel members here, can I get an it depends, please? But that's why, like, I don't understand the uproar around Guinness World Record, because I was like, they made it very explicitly clear when we were participants and awarded that award, when we could use it, how we could use it, where we could use it, what phrasing was allowed. And I'm saying, if you don't know that specific verbiage, it's probably because you weren't a participant or actually getting like a recipient of that, and you probably shouldn't be using it. You know what I'm saying? All these people who are using it in their thumbnails and now being like, I didn't know I couldn't do that. I'm like, really? Did you think that you could put it on there and it was going to be like, it's no problem at all? Like, really? You really thought that, you know, if I had an entire channel about how to animate Mickey Mouse, you don't think Disney at some point would be like, hey, that's not for you. You can come to the animation studios and take a class from our caricature people about, or character artist people about how to draw, but you can't then take it, do the same tutorial, charge people money for it on an intellectual property that isn't yours. So I guess I don't understand why people are so upset with Guinness when all of these people are the ones who violated copyright and trademark infringement in the first place. And there was a response that I did see on Twitter that I want to address, which was someone reached out to them through DM and they said, you know what, we've been using a software and you know what, maybe the strikes were, released too quickly. So we're going to ask people for a warning and for them to change it. And I'm like, see, when brought to their attention that the robots have gone amok, and they realized the consequences of what can happen for channels, they weren't like, good. They were like, oh, yeah, let's maybe not be as harsh. Sorry about that. We'll turn the machines off here or like tweak some rules. But it could be a hot take, but I'm not mad at Guinness World Record. I'm not like at all. I have a certificate over here and it has a trademark on it. And that trademark took me over a year, over 14 months to achieve. So I have a trademark for Shelly Saves the Day. Technically, if I wanted to, I could go after people who are trying to use it, and some do, because it's actually trademarked. So if I wanted to say Shelly Saves the Day with a TM, it's not being actually, like I have it. I own that trademark. It's one you could look up in the test database. But that's what I'm saying is like, I'm glad that like protection exists and that the possibility exists that I could go after someone who's using it erroneously because they didn't earn it, they didn't file it, they didn't go through the steps to actually get it. And I would be really upset if they were doing it and then like making all this money off of it. Don't get me started on this XQC channel who's doing all these reaction stuff and people are pissed about that. But I most wanted to talk about though is I think Guinness World Records, they're not the bad guy. They're not. And you can't just throw up your hands and be like, I didn't know I couldn't do that. Then that's on you. That's on you. And I understand that like no one wants to read the terms of service and but like it kind of comes back to this principle of like, if it's not yours, if you're not sure if you can use it, don't use it. You can take a picture of yourself and use that because you took that picture. But like, you can't take a picture of something that was like Mickey Mouse and then be like, I own this. This is my copyright. That's not how that works. It's not how it works. Thoughts, opinions, oppositions, throw them at me. I mean, I don't understand why people are so mad at Guinness. I'm not mad at Guinness. I was like, good for you. You should be doing that. You should be protecting your brand because if you just let anybody run amok and awry with using your assets, using your likeness, then it tarnishes and it doesn't have as much value. And that's part of what you're protecting. And the misuse and appropriation of it. Like, you shouldn't be using it thinking, am I watching this and someone actually got a world record? And I don't think that people are like I don't think that they were upset about the use of world record. I saw tons of people going off like, they can't just copyright world record. No, but they can copyright Guinness World Record. And they can copyright the logo. So I just think people are upset in the wrong places because I don't believe that that they've really done anything wrong. Honestly, I don't. So I'm just whatever. It is whatever. Okay. So Pixel P says, if people misuse it, the value deflates. Exactly. Precisely. So you should respect copyright. Just like, people want to get all upset about, and I'll talk to you about this. I can't live stream on, I can now, but I couldn't for like a week and a half live stream on TikTok because I got a copyright violation. Do as I say, not as I do. Because I tried to stream the Taylor Swift concert, which I've seen at every single city. And it seems like she loves reacting to a lot of the reactions, a lot of the videos, a lot of the whatever. So, yeah. I mean, like literally I've seen it in every city. So I tried to do it. streamed it, and then about an hour in, I got cut off and said I'd violated copyright, and then I was banned for a week, 10 days from being able to live stream. So I was so bummed because I've seen so many people doing it every single weekend. So I was like, why me? Why me? So I got booted and told I couldn't stream, and I was really sad about it. So there's that. So respect your copyright. And I tried to appeal because I was like, every weekend, every show, like I even screen recorded one because I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited for this Taylor, but I can't watch it right now. So I had an extra phone laying around. I'm like, yeah, let me come back and watch this later. It was like a whole show. Gosh, I gotta find that. It's in my Google Cloud somewhere. But like, I would not have thought, or maybe every week they catch several. I don't know. That one I was actually really surprised about because my husband was watching and it's like, yeah, yours got shut off, or it said that, and it ended. I just found another one. I was like, because he did not go to the concert. I went with a girlfriend of mine who is a big Taylor Swift fan. And I'm also going to say that that is the best concert I've probably ever been to. Just putting that out there. So, the scrapers probably got up to those people too. You know, probably, honestly. So, Adam's Exploit says, I got a copyright claim when I filled the Bellagio fountain. I remember. Yeah, music in the background, right? Exactly. So, it's interesting to me because I find it so weird. I'm sorry. I'm trying. Like, this looks so awful. I'm like, is she laying down? I'm like, I'm trying as best I can, you guys. I find it so interesting that some people are so up in arms about different things. So if you've ever listened to a Sad Song Sunday, you guys know that I'll take a pop song or whatever, Taylor Swift song, and I will make it like super slow and sad and whatever, and that's just what I do. So do I materially change it in some way? Sure. Is it fair use? No, because technically not only can they get me for composition, but for lyric, melody, all that stuff, right, too. And I sometimes, get claimed. So it'll be like a year later, and then I get a notification on Facebook that my sound is muted because they were able to identify a song. That's why I also stopped simulcasting to YouTube, because on my music channel I would simulcast there sometimes, but also Twitch doesn't like that when you're supposed to be partnering with them. And at the end of every live, it would just be like 30 copyright claims. Doesn't matter if you change it or, sometimes I even try and do different lyrics. I tried once to do Hey There Delilah, and I did it from the girl's perspective, and I actually wrote that, and I did it to the Hey There Delilah, and I slowed it down. I got hit with that one too, like right away. So, but people get so funny about that, and they're like, look at me, but I'm changing it, and I'm performing it, and it's acoustic and it's not the same, and I'm like, that's not yours. And I get that. So for me, like, I get that too. So all of mine that get shut down, like, I get it. So yeah, what can I say? It's I don't understand why people are so upset with Guinness, because we know that music is going to come after you. Something like Guinness World Records, where the icon is so notable and distinctive. Yeah, especially if it's used for something in no context. Because if you're using it the correct way and you use it, with their permission and in the time box allotted, they're not going to come after you. So, okay. I will be live streaming next Thursday. I'm just having you guys know that. But then I will be gone for the week after that because I am going to Iceland. And I think I told you all that. So I'm so excited. I was going to maybe rent a lens from a local camera shop, because I was going to actually just take my phone, and then I thought, no, when am I ever going to be in Iceland again? I'm going to take a real camera with a real lens. And I was like, but I don't really have that. So I'd been looking at used, I'd been looking at a rental, and because of the way that the trip coincides, and I have to be there a couple days early for a week-long cruise or something, it would be like a 2-week rental, but it It's $230 to rent. So it's going to be $460. Or I could try and buy a lens for like $700. It was a whole thing. And I was just like, I've been searching, and then I finally decided I'm just gonna give up. It's fine. I asked a friend maybe I could borrow one from their setup, and they were gonna maybe look at that. And then I was like, I don't know. But then sometimes the universe blesses you when you are manifesting things. And I was like, I just really want this one lens, and I could never seem to get it. Who else other than Roberto Blake actually popped up on my Twitter timeline saying, hey, I'm selling this lens. And it was like 10, 15 minutes. And I'm like, I will take it. I DM'd him and like, I will take it. And hopefully, as long as it gets here in time before the trip, I'm now set. I'm going to have a nice camera. I'm going to have a very nice lens. And things like that way, working out swimmingly. I went to a doctor. They call it a physiatrist. It's a back and spine specialist person. And they told me that everything, all of the symptoms I was displaying were very much in line with herniated disc. And I was like, oh, I know. And he said, I don't think it's probably wise at this time to get another one when I can see from the last MRI that was like 14 months ago that it's pretty moderate. So I think if you're in this much pain, because I was like at pain level 8 consistently. Couldn't stand, couldn't walk, couldn't do anything except for lay down. And then towards the end, I couldn't even lay down. So he's like, I think it's most important that you get like scheduled for a shot. And I'm like, okay, do we do that now? And he's like, oh no, we'll call you and we'll see when it comes up. And I almost burst into tears because I was like, you don't even know what it took for me to get into the car and my husband had to drive me like to get here. And I was like, I really thought I was going to leave this office. Like it was just a quick jab. And then he felt so bad. I was like, I'm going to try and put in a rush order for an emergency one and see if that happens, if we can get insurance in line. Sometimes, the heavens that be and the powers that be are looking out for you, because like 4 hours later, I got a phone call and said, we had a cancellation. Can come down now. And I'm like, I am on my way. So my husband had to take off from work again, bless him. And I got in later that afternoon, and I went from an 8, and they did the shot, which is so funny because the shot apparently takes like 25, 30 minutes to go numb, but the procedure took 5 minutes. So I was wheeled back in my little wheelchair and sat down in this chair, and I immediately sat down, and I was like, you know what? The pain's like a 4 right now, like not an 8. This is amazing. This is the first time I've been able to sit. I haven't been able to sit. And he's like, oh, that's great. And he's like, okay, so you're going to put your shirt back on now. And he's like, maybe don't try and stand up, or if you do, lock out your leg like a pirate, because a lot of people they don't quite get the feeling right. So they just fall over. And I'm like, I'm fine. Stood up, fell down. And he's like, are you all right? I'm like, yep, you're all right. I fell down. Fell right down. Right down. So there's that. And today, but you know what? I was so thankful, and it was starting to work out. And then, I was like, oh, wow, I'm feeling like my pain levels at like a 3 or 4 fluctuating. I'm like, this could work. This could be great. And then they're like, well, you're going to feel maybe okay for the rest of the day. And then he's like, the next 2 days could be bad. And then hopefully after that, 4 to 7 days, you should kind of even out. And I was like, well, I'm feeling good now. And then I got my ass handed to me the next 2 days, and I was like crawling. I was literally crawling around the house because that was one of the only comfortable positions. And I was like, oh God, this is not good. I was like, we're going to need another shot like now. He's like 1 or 2 shots maybe. And then if not, then surgery. Because I told him when I got there, I was like, I will wear the orthotic shoes. I will do like whatever exercise you're saying. And he's like, well, one of the only ways that you can come in and get the shot today is if you don't need any kind of like anesthesia or anything. And I was like, there is no way that like you could stab me with anything and it's going to feel much worse than it is right now. I was like, I am fine. Just go to town. And so he's like, all right, well then you come on down. And that was the only way that I was able to get in, because they wouldn't have been able to do it if I had requested apparently anesthesia or something. But I will say it is now 4 days later or something like that. And the pain has gotten, because it was around like a 6, it's now probably just hanging out at like a 5 every day. So, but today I flew too close to the sun, tried to get the mail, and the mailbox was empty. And I was like, that's fucking rude. And I wasted that whole trip for nothing. And then I kind of just like laid down. And then I was Marco Poloing my friends who are all now down at the place getting ready. And someone was like, you don't look so good. And I was like, And then I was like, I was like, it's fancy, it's wiggling. And then I started laughing and it hurt my back. And I was just like, oh, damn, that hurt. And so I had to like cut it off, and she's just laughing at me. And I'm like, oh, I'm so glad that my pain is so amusing for you. Anyways, I'm gonna go. I am so proud of myself that I lasted this long. Honestly, I'm not even gonna lie. So I'm gonna go lay down again. And I just wanted to make sure y'all knew I'm still alive. I'm still around. I'm still here. Next week, I want to do something animation / wise that I saw in Adobe Express from a couple of different creators and I wanted to try it. And I saw it in a video, and I thought maybe that'd be a fun let's try and do it thing, where we create like a 2D cartoon thing with a mouth moving thing. We'll see how that goes. Or if it's going to be something else. Because the other thing I really wanted to chat with y'all about is the new updated FTC guidelines for influencers. And I actually want to do a very deep dive on that, like paragraph by paragraph, and kind of do like we did before with like YouTube rules, of like how it all works and what I interpret it to mean. But let's see. Or if you guys want to vote. If you want to vote, which one you want to actually talk about, FTC guidelines for influencers, or I'm trying to do a fun little animation thing with voice. Vote. Let me know. I'll see y'all soon next week. Okay, bye.